So every now and then I get stuck in some conservative political discussion because somebody posts some crap from a conservative blog site that masquerades as a news site, something like TPNN, the Tea Party News Network, or Conservative Tribune, and they have these really crappy BS articles that are so outlandish that you can't believe anybody would believe them, and nobody reads the articles, and they're so outlandish I have to go check them out, and the headlines aren't true always, and then there's people in there trying to defend uh, the crap that's in the article. And I've noticed that there are a bunch of phrases that everybody uses over and over and over again, ad nauseum, and it's so bad and so prevalent that I made a list just off the top of my head. It's not all of them, but it's enough to where it should be pointed out, because people need to quit using them because it just makes them look really foolish. Now, here's some of them. Patriot. Nowadays, a patriot is somebody who has anti-left, anti-government, radical views, and posts them on the internet. That's what's considered patriot. That word has no meaning anymore. Union thugs. This one comes up with when government sector employees want collective bargaining rights, and it's usually firemen and policemen, which is odd because conservatives love policemen and firemen. They're heroes until they want to negotiate better terms for their employment. Taxation is theft, or taxation is tyranny. Um, Taxation is a way to fund the government, and conservatives call it theft and tyranny when they find out that the government's paying for something that they don't like. Well, that doesn't make it tyranny, nor does it make it theft. It's just funding the government. Um, Here's a good one. Libtard. Liberal. Retard. Libtard. Very clever. Regressive. So you're not liberal, you're not progressive, you're regressive. It's a pejorative term like libtard, and often used by the same people who use the word libtard. Family values. This is an odd one. It doesn't really mean anything, but it usually comes from the anti-gay or pro-Christian crowd, and it's an odd thing to defend since most American families are dysfunctional, and the family values are not really worth defending, but whatever. The Cloward Piven strategy. This is an interesting one. This basically states that if you can get as many people on government assistance programs as possible, that they will vote Democrat. Now, this is a fallacy argument. It's a non sequitur, and it's never proven to be true ever, but people still use it. Useful idiot is a term that comes up very frequently, and it did have some historical significance, and it still does, but it's used just in place of the word idiot, and I guess it creates the illusion that somebody has some historical knowledge, but they just look like idiots. Anything with an agenda, a gay agenda, a black agenda, a feminist agenda. People bring this up, and then when you ask them, where can I download the gay agenda? Or can you tell me about it? They can never do it. They can never point me to a link of these agendas, and then they just make shit up about them because they don't exist. Liberal media bias. We hear this one a lot. which is really strange because an overwhelming majority of media outlets are owned and operated by conservatives. Um, Obamacare, another name for the ACA, Affordable Care Act, which is a piece of shit. But it's one of those contractions where it's kind of like when you add gate onto the end of a scandal. Um, just care at the end of a medical thing, Hillary Care, Obamacare, just stupid. Rhino, Republican in name only. So you voted in a Republican. They did some stuff. You don't like it because you're radical. Therefore, you think they're not Republican. Um, Maybe you ought to think that through. Term limits. Now, here's the party that claims to be pro-freedom, and they want to limit the number of times that a person can be elected into office, which is very anti-freedom. I mean, if a candidate is very good and they do a very good job, why shouldn't the people be permitted to elect them as many times as they want? Doesn't make sense. Balanced budget amendment. This one's just a bad idea for many reasons, and I could do a totally different segment on this. Um, but it still gets thrown around quite a bit. Um, the health and sustainability of the nation. Now, this phrase comes up when someone gets in a pickle and they say, well, I'm just worried about the health and sustainability of the nation. And if that's what you're worrying about, then you're doing so from a healthy nation. Another common one, it's just common sense. It's just common sense. And it's usually people that are pushing the term limits and balanced budget amendment. It's just common sense. And it's a way of avoiding explaining why it's a good idea, probably in order to avoid getting trapped into defending the refutations of why they're bad ideas. The creation science and intelligent design are both new terms for creationism. They're designed to have an appearance of legitimacy, but it's just creationism repackaged, and it's people trying to get the Bible taught in schools. Not a good idea. Death panel. We heard this one quite a bit. As I stated before, the ACA is a piece of shit, and death panel, there's better ways to refute the ACA than that term. Ideologue. We heard that one quite a bit. Ivory tower, you hear that a lot. Judicial activism. This one comes up when, of course, the Supreme Court votes on things that don't go the conservatives' way. They think it's partisanship, judicial activism. Crap. Lamestream media. Here's another foolish contraction. If the media doesn't report on some of their radical ideas, they're lamestream. Okay, low information voter. All right. When you hear this one, you know you're dealing with a Rush Limbaugh fan and somebody who is a person of low information. What else can you say? Redefinition of marriage comes up quite a bit, of course, from the anti-gay marriage crowd. Marriage was not ever redefined, just expanded. Pro-life. This is a good one. Of course, it's the anti-abortion crowd. And it tries to make the implication that if you're in favor of women's reproductive rights, that means pro-death, and the opposite of that would be pro-life. Uh, Pretty crappy, overused. Race card, we hear that all the time. Scientific fascism. This is one where when people have a desire to oppose science usually for political reasons, um, and they feel that it's being forced upon them because they want to either remain ignorant of it or have some other reason to oppose it. Socialist or communist. These words have no meaning anymore thanks to the conservatives, because anything that is not on the right is socialist or communist. And they've tried to hammer it home with Obama as being a socialist for 8 years, and he's pretty much just a status quo Democrat, and they keep calling him a socialist. And it's basically destroyed the meaning of the word. Pretty lame. Think tank. This is one we hear a lot with, it's both left and right, but it's little boys clubs for people who like to bandy about crazy radical ideas. Think tank. Family associations. American Family Association. Anytime you see one of these things, it's always anti-gay. And they're usually rabidly anti-gay, and they seek only to oppress gay people and the things they want to do. And often these people are just latent homosexuals who are eventually going to get caught in a scandal. Just mark your watches. There's the conspiracy theories. Global warming is a lie. They had to change the term global warming to climate change because they were wrong. That is nonsense. And there are mountains of empirical data that confirm this theory. It is a scientific fact. And claiming it's a lie and it's this huge conspiracy is preposterous. And a completely foolish position to take. But if that's your opinion, go for it. You're making yourself look foolish. Obama has no birth certificate. All right, this is the one that Donald Trump, the people are going to vote for this guy. And this guy is a conspiracy theorist who thinks that Obama has no birth certificate. You're going to vote for this guy. God. They're going to take away our guns. You hear this one all the time. Hasn't happened. Won't happen. Then there's some of the more nutty ones. Agenda 21. Globalism. These are UN based things. Judeo-Christian. This is an interesting one because when people say it, they don't give a crap about the Judeo part. They only mean the Christian part. They should just drop it. Everybody can see right through that one. America was founded upon Christian principles. No, it wasn't. It's demonstrably false. I don't see how people can say this with a straight face, yet they keep repeating it as if you say it enough, it's going to become true. It's just not true. Evolution is a lie. There are still people running around who believe this, and they get elected to office, which is extremely frightening. climate change is just a theory. These people are displaying their ignorance with that statement. They don't understand the difference between a scientific theory and a theory like a hypothesis, some thing that you would dream up while you were drunk some night. Definitely should get educated. Traditional marriage. There's no such thing as traditional marriage. Marriage exists in all kinds of traditions and all cultures. It changes from era to era. There's no such thing. Biblical definition of marriage. There is no such thing. The Bible is not a dictionary. The marriages that are described in the Bible come in forms other than the forms that people that use this term are referring to, which is one man and one woman. The Bible contains probably about 10 different arrangements of marriages that do not involve one man and one woman. This is just the stuff I managed to come up with off the top of my head. If you're using these terms, you're sort of tattooing yourselves as people who have memorized a mantra and keep perpetuating terminology that identifies you as basically a non-thinker. These are not original phrases, yet they're used constantly. And as soon as you see somebody using this kind of stuff, you know exactly what you're dealing with. And it's a cookie cutter mentality. There's going to be no useful discussion. It's going to be the same thing, the same phrases repeated over and over again. If you're doing it, stop it.